How much does a smart pergola or a louvered roof cost? We're going to go through louvered systems from basically the least expensive models to the most expensive. To structure the system, we basically have two different build types of a louvered system, and then we have two different ways that they're installed. So on the low end, a DIY roll form aluminum system are going to be your two least expensive components. So you do it yourself, and the components themselves are made out of a roll form aluminum. So if you're going to buy something from Costco or Wayfair or anything that's online, most of those, if not all of them, are going to be a roll form aluminum. That's essentially equivalent to what your gutters are made out of. They're relatively thin, they don't carry a snow load, they're not fantastic in high winds. So roll form aluminum louvered systems are usually just good for shade, and then you need to leave them open 99% of the time when you're not trying to have shade or rain with no heavy wind coverage. That's kind of how those work. And then in terms of the actual support system, I'm not entirely sure because it depends on the unit how much it can handle snow and wind wise, but the louvers themselves are really thin. The reason why is because the less poundage of aluminum, the less expensive it is to manufacture. And so therefore, you have a lower price point at the end. You can't make an extruded product at the same price point as those roll form ones because it's simply the poundage of aluminum is more expensive than what those sell for. On the other end of the spectrum, you have fully extruded systems that are installed by contractors or dealers. So the fully extruded systems are all extruded aluminum. Extruded aluminum is taking a billet of aluminum or a big log and then heating it up and pushing it through a shape. So it's like making spaghetti or Play-Doh spaghetti if you ever did that with your kids. And the concept there being that as it forces it through with that hydraulic press, you're pushing all that aluminum together, you're making it a lot stronger. The material itself is also a lot thicker, it has to be, so that it doesn't come out the other end and sag immediately. So you have a thicker, more heavy components that are going to be better at handling snow and wind loads. That's the high end. So if we're talking general sizes, a 12 by 12 is a common size in the louvered game. At the low end, you've got the DIYs that are about $2,000 to $4,000 typically. At the high end, fully extruded, installed by contractor, freestanding units, they're probably going to be somewhere around $18,000 these days. So that's kind of your range, from 2 to 4 to 18,000. That being said, finding a fully extruded aluminum system that's easy to install so you have the product capability of the fully extruded system without having to pay a contractor to actually install it, you can get that same system at a much better price. And that's essentially what the Luxury Pergola, what we do, is we spend about 3 years designing our system to be a fully extruded system. As we started getting aluminum price increases month after month, we found that essentially we were going to be so expensive that we wanted to offer something that was direct to consumer at a much more attainable price. So our 12 by 12 is a fully extruded system, can still handle up to 8,000 pounds of snow on top of it, can still handle 115 mile an hour winds, so your windows are essentially shattering at that amount of wind speed, but we can get it in for about $9,999, at least that's what we have them starting at. And so the concept there being that we allow people to get a very premium product that will probably outlast most of their house for a reasonable price. And that's kind of what we did. It took us a long time to get it designed to the point where it's at right now, but the installation can be done in a day. And then you've got a product that when you're looking at value retention on your home, a traditional pergola is going to retain, at least in terms of a lot of statistics, somewhere between 60 to 70% of its value or its cost. And so if you're trying to put an addition on your house and you buy the high-end installed by contractor version, you probably recoup a smaller percentage of that. Whereas something like our product, you're going to have a much higher percentage, if not potentially the whole thing, to be able to be part of the new value of your home if you get it reappraised or you go to sell it on. And that was kind of the goal. We wanted to give people a fully made in America product that gives people that quality without having to cost an arm and a leg. That's how much a smart pergola or a louvered system cost. The actual price ranges depending on what you're going to buy. From a roll form system for DIY that's very inexpensive to a roll form installed by a contractor to an extruded DIY, which is what we do, to an extruded built by a contractor, you've got quite the range. And so you have to find within that range what you feel comfortable with. If you're interested in what we do, you can always look in the link below, theluxurypergola.com, and you can see more about what our product looks like and why we designed it the way we did, and a little bit about us. I'll be doing more informational videos about the louvered system market and shade cover in general. So as we get moving, any questions you have, please leave them in the comments below. Be more than happy to respond. Till the next one, see you guys in the next one.